Arsenal joint top. Obviously, City not playing until tomorrow when they go to Chelsea. What did you make of the Arsenal performance in this one against Burnley in a 3-1 win, Shaq?
I thought this was, again, easy going, as you would expect for Arsenal at home at the Emirates against Burnley, who are bottom, or near enough bottom of the table. I don't even know what the bottom of the table looks like anymore. But certainly of those teams down at the bottom, Burnley would kind of want to say that they are a pure footballing team compared to everybody else anyway. And so would not kind of provide the kind of physical challenge that you saw, at the very least, from Newcastle last week. So this was about two footballing teams coming up against each other. One very, very good, one promising to be good or showing that they were good in the championship at the least last season, but haven't found any kind of rhythm this time around. The big surprise, I guess, was that it took Arsenal as long as they did to break the deadlock. It was 0-0 at halftime, and then when they did, Burnley got themselves back in the game again. Some physicality and Tomiyasu, and he was dispossessed. Arsenal appealing for a foul. I didn't think it was. Burnley get a goal, and then of course there's two sides to this coin. If you're Burnley, after getting yourself back in the game, you're desperately disappointed to allow Arsenal to go back in front. The other side of that same coin is, even after the setback, I think Arsenal show a certain resolve in getting the goal, albeit from a set piece of Gabriel. And for me, the bigger question from a Burnley perspective is how vulnerable they look from set pieces. Mm-hmm. Again, while okay, this is who Vincent Kompany wants his Burnley to be in terms of their football and building up from the back. The one thing that when you're down at the bottom of the table, I don't think you can afford to do is give up goals or give up chances as easily from set pieces. You cannot afford to not do the basics. And I thought that ultimately was Burnley's undoing. But saying that, the 3 points, and in all honesty, the 2-goal gap is the least that Arsenal deserved.
Yeah, I'll get back to Arsenal in just a second. You mentioned the foot of the table there. Now, this is when I say to producer Graham, I want Graham, if possible, to go to a full screen of Shaka to see what is behind Shaka Hislop. Now, you've got a picture of a rocket. You also have E=mc², other way, and you have various other things. So when you've got all that, we think you're so bright you should know everything. But you did admit to not knowing what things are like at the foot of the table. So I will tell you, there are 4 teams. Luton in 17th, Bournemouth in 18th, Burnley in 19th, and Sheffield United in 20th. Luton and Bournemouth on 6 points, Burnley and Sheffield United bottom on 4 points. There's a 6-point gap to Fulham, who've got a game in hand. Is it 3 from those 4 for you to go down, even although we're still in November and we're already talking about relegation?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's 3 out of that 4, and right now it's anybody's guess as to who the 3 are. And the concern for me is, as we discuss who gets relegated, the one thing you cannot afford to do is neglect the basics. And of the 4 down the bottom, Sheffield United probably is the best at maybe being physical and doing things a certain way. But even they, time and time again, have been caught playing the ball out to the back and making what, in my opinion, are kind of sloppy mistakes. So it's really difficult to identify who are the favorite 3 out of that 4. Fulham very well may get dragged back into it. I think they've missed that significant goal scoring threat since Mitrovic left. Maybe they do something about it in January. Who knows? And then history has shown over the years that post-Christmas, there's always that 1 or 2 teams that kind of get dragged back into it for whatever reason. Right now, I'm not sure who that 1 or 2 teams may be, but somebody will give that for reason for hope. I'm just not sure who that somebody is just yet.
Well, the issue there is, are they going to go to the bottom four, or are the bottom four going to go to them? That's the concern, and where the bottom four are going to get the points
I don't think the
from.
bottom four are going anywhere. Somebody's
No,
going to drop.
just
I don't
going a
think the
bad.
bottom
Yeah,
four,
yeah.
anybody in down there, are capable of putting together a string of results. In terms of in terms of rising to those above them, as you phrase it, Mark.
And as we head to the other end of the table, I mentioned Arsenal now level on points with Manchester City, albeit City have got a game in hand and look by far the best team in the league right now. Last week had all the off the field drama about VAR and decisions and statements being made by Arsenal. They did their talking on the pitch today. Now, look, we can talk about Kai Havertz and talk about the impact. I don't think this is the right time for it, because Arsenal have just won 3-1. I don't think he's had the impact that they hoped he would have. However, Leandro Trossard, you spoke about the delivery that Burnley struggled to deal with from set plays. His corners are fantastic, as we saw. Martinelli didn't have the busiest of games today, but he's still there or thereabouts. They've got Gabriel Jesus to come back from injury. Nketiah came on there. Bukayo Saka, I don't think it's 100% right now, but still got an assist there. Do they have the firepower, Arsenal, to maintain another title challenge to Manchester City?
Yeah, they have more than anybody else, and
Sure.
while kind of like the bottom of the table, I'm not exactly sure what the top of the table looks like right now. Kind of given the games this morning, I'm standing by my well, I'm not going to say preseason, but certainly early in the season prediction that I think the best four teams in the league are Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs. I think City are in my mind the best and will win the league. I think of that four, Spurs are the fourth and will finish in fourth spot, qualifying for Champions League. I'll be honest, I didn't see that preseason, so I had to kind of adjust my prediction there. And then Liverpool and Arsenal are pretty even in all honesty. So I say all that to say that of the teams in the Premier League capable of challenging Manchester City, I think Arsenal and Liverpool are those two. To your question about the firepower, I think Gabriel Jesus out injured, Martinelli he's given a rest, he's on the bench, and Trossard given the nod to start. You talk about his set pieces. I thought his bravery in scoring the first goal was absolutely to be admired. So they have enough cover, or they have more cover than most in the league in terms of putting together that challenge. Will it be enough for them to eclipse Manchester City as we sit? I think not. But in terms of teams, in terms of squads, they are as good as anybody else in the league.
83rd minute, Fabio Vieira, stupid. I mean, Mikel Arteta didn't even get up to give him a pat on the back, and he wanted the applause. He gave the applause to the crowd as he went off, and Arteta's face as if to say,
It was silly.
You've got to be better than that.
It was. I mean, it wasn't. I'm not going to say it was malicious, because I
don't think it's just stupid.
And again, yeah, I'm just giving a personal opinion about somebody I don't really know, but I don't think Fabio Vieira is that kind of player. So I don't think it was malicious, but it was late and it was high. And kind of given, again, kind of looking back a week ago and everything that we were talking about, and post-game press conferences, and who should have been sent off and not, and the independent panel, and Postecoglou's reaction, all of that. You just win a game without any kind of
drama,
headline, any kind of drama, and let's just go home. We've got a couple of weeks with the international break now, and let's just throw a wet blanket on that firestorm that was brewed. Some of it your own doing, some of it not, but everybody kind of got caught up in it. And I thought Fabio Vieira's decision in a game that was already won, comfortable, I didn't see the point of it. Young players make mistakes. I'd put that down to